first to number 10, where Rishi Sunak has tightened his grip on government by replacing respected Defence Secretary Ben Wallace, who's resigned, with a close ally. In a mini-reshuffle that raised eyebrows amongst the top brass, Grant Shapps was given the nod for the key role despite having no previous experience in the military. The Sunak loyalist has become something of a Whitehall pinball, serving in 5 cabinet posts during the past year, just 1 year alone. Most recently, Energy Secretary. In his parting letter to number 10, Ben Wallace warned the world will become more dangerous, and he urged his boss not to compromise on cash for the armed forces. The former Guards officer, who served under 3 prime ministers, has been lauded for overseeing the British response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, the Children's Minister, Claire Coutinho, another Sunak superfan, has been promoted to the top table to take over Shapps' duties as Energy Secretary. And David Johnston replaces her in the Department for Education.
I worked very closely with Grant Shapps. He's a very experienced minister. In fact, he became a minister in 2010 and has vast experience as a minister. Claire Coutinho doesn't have the same experience, but I think most people that know Claire and the public and your viewers will get to know her pretty well, I think, over the months ahead. We'll see that she is clearly a very big talent with a very big future.
But today's Tory tinkering left Shadow Attorney General Emily Thornberry less than impressed. Using suitably naval terminology, the Labour frontbencher called the government a sinking ship.
It really doesn't matter how many new jobs Rishi Sunak gives to his friends. It's still moving the deck chairs. They're still a sinking ship. This country really needs change, and the only change that they're going to get is if we get a Labour government, and we get a Labour government soon.
Yes, I'm supposed she would say that, wouldn't she? I suppose from my point of view, I just look at this and I just think Rishi Sunak's got his eye on the general election, hasn't he? He doesn't want, the one thing he doesn't want is he doesn't want a continuation of the kind of general itchiness between the Ministry of Defence and the Treasury. And this is much easier. He just says to his mate, Granty, he just goes, let's... Look, I know, let's just kind of goes, no, let's not do this, let's not do that, and let's not do everything else. Let's not do anything, and that's the whole point.
That whole thing was pathetic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Greg Clark, who just looked so uncomfortable telling us all what a great guy Grant Shapps is and what a brilliant minister he is. Nobody can think of anything he's ever done. He hasn't really done anything.
He's done a lot of jobs, 5
He
jobs
was Home
in time,
Secretary.
hasn't
He was Home Secretary for less than a week.
Yeah.
Right? This is the government we're dealing with here. None of them know what they're doing. They've appointed some woman who's never done anything in her life apart from do a lot of tweets about childcare. Now they're going to put her in charge of energy, which is a bigger even brief than defence is, because we haven't got any.
I just find it.
What the hell are they doing?
But defence is a massive... This is the
He's
problem,
going to be at NATO
defence
now, Grant Shapps.
This is
Tory boy.
Is a massive brief, and that's the problem, isn't it? And he's got to get to grips with it.
I mean, I just find it amazing how he can have these 5 very wide-ranging briefs: Home Secretary, Energy, Transport, Space, in charge of Rubik's Cubes. He literally does absolutely everything and qualified for nothing. It's amazing.
But he doesn't do anything, though, does he? I mean,
apparently he's a great strategist, he's good with numbers, and he's trustworthy. And I know he's had lots of different portfolios, but essentially he's a safe pair of hands.
Who said that, though?
He did. He did.
He emailed you earlier on
The
today.
problem is, if Sunak wanted someone who's experienced, he would have gone someone like Tom Tugendhat. He knows defence, he understands war, he knows what they need, but he doesn't want someone who's going to go to him and say, we need more money in defence. He wants someone who can just control.
Yeah,
so it's not Shapps.
Here's the funny... I mean, I can't be the only person. Every now and again, you watch the news, we work and live and breathe the news, we're in a newsroom all the time, and you see the doom and, you hear other rumours, and you realise how precarious this world is. You've got Russia, you've got Ukraine, and China staring down. Will one of those missiles at some point, against all the odds, come flying over? Then today, I hear that Shappsy is in charge of our defence. Shappsy's come to town. And I suddenly feel safer.
Do you?
Here's the thing, right? As you rightly said, obviously I jest. You mentioned, it's an election coming. This is the stupidity of this government. If you wanted to win a general election, you wouldn't put Grant Shapps.
No.
Absolutely.
You would put Tom Tugendhat there. You'd go most people, a bit like Ben Wallace, really, even people who weren't Tories. Well, that Wallace guy seems to really know his brief.
Yeah.
Tugendhat knows his stuff.
Well, because he was ex-army. I mean, mean, he was an
Correct.
ex-army officer.
It doesn't have to
army
just be
officer.
that, though.
No, it doesn't.
No,
the
but
thing
it
is,
helps.
It
helps,
certainly,
right?
it absolutely helps.
But we
And-
come back to that point that the reason he's got one eye on the general election is because the one thing that he doesn't want to do is spend any more money on anything. He wants the status quo.
Yeah.
He knows that it's not right, but it can't get any better unless
Well,
you
that's the
actually...
opposite, though, because the only chance he's got of winning an election is to spend some money, to give us some tax
Yeah.
back, and to actually sort out various things that need money being spent on them. So the idea that he's not going to spend any money. Grant Shapps, don't forget, is the Transport Secretary who went to Spain on holiday and didn't know they were going to tell people not to fly anymore during COVID, and he got stuck there because he had no idea. He was supposed to be running the policy.
He's also the bloke who
also
used to sell get-rich-quick schemes
he's
under
also
different
yeah,
names.
Under a
he's
different
also
name
the guy.
completely, yeah.
He's also the guy who couldn't solve the train strike.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know what you're going to do sending him to NATO. What's he going to
Well,
say
that's the
to them?
stupid thing. The fact that you've had 5 briefs, if it was over a 25-year period,
Yeah, it
you
kind of
go,
makes sense.
well, you're an experienced
Senior.
statesman. This is over a year. It's less than 12 months. That's not a good thing. That's a very bad thing.
He'd be very good. He'd be very good. He'd be the sort of person in a pub that you really want to be there because of the fact that, you know, cocktail maker hasn't turned up. It's okay, Shapps, you'll do it.
Yeah,
You know, somebody near the barrel
the
needs
DJ.
changing. Somebody will do that DJing.
He's like the guy you send in for the administrator to shut everything down and just go, sorry, you're all going home.
Do you know, somebody absolutely crystallised it earlier today. Our callers have great wisdom. They said, Grant Shapps, he's the JJ of politics. There you go. There it is.
And the caller was Mike Graham.
I think
It's a good thing, isn't it? It's not, you know, that's not
Different
derogatory.
names, 5
anyway.
jobs.
Yeah.
something's happened to Ian ever since he did triple denim.
Exactly.
gone,
Ever since he
gone,
became
peaked
denim
on.
sharp.
He's going to burst into some country western song.
Yeah. That's why I